right, we've done a lot so far, so I wanted to get back to my goal. So basically, my initial goal was the report I had in Excel to kind of recap where we are on our path to making this even more dynamic in JetOx Web. So far, we've gotten a list, and then we have the duplicates. Then we remove the duplicates, and also being able to control things like getting rid of blanks, preventing them, or if we want to remove certain characters, we're there. And now instead of, as we have here, having a static list that would have to, in theory, be upkept, which no one wants to do, in our web report, or at least the examples we've been working on, we're now pulling from a subset.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. And this subset we are pulling the data from, and here we see as a sample what you brought with me, where we started actually. We want to have a little more dynamic movement on our report. So in this case, we want to add a filter setting to our subset that pulls the countries and the appropriate salesperson. So we want to have an additional combo box for the subset in general. And finally, if you have the list given from the countries and you have a couple of salespersons here, we want to have a second combo box where we can execute the filter on a specific salesperson. This is actually where we need the non-duplicated list, right? So let's take a look. So we prepared something, right? So this is where we stopped our lesson before. So we are pulling with the subset the data from the database. We're doing the same here. So the difference is that this subset is now driven by the filter criteria selected in our combo box. So we can move here back and forth. So we see only the East countries and West countries and so on. So let's keep it on East. And like in your goal sheet, we now need a second combo box where we can filter now the sales manager. And you see there's already a DynaRange waiting for us to care about the lower part of the report. So replace me means there's currently nothing inside. We want to have there exactly our filter list, so the list of salesperson that are given to us by the subset here. So we have 3 times David, for example, and 1 time Julia. So definitely I don't want to have 3 times David there, only 1 time David and 1 time Julia. And this is exactly what our previous created function is creating for us. The function is still there from our previous session. So what I can do is now actually I just copy the entire function, go to my combo box and say instead of pulling from a subset, we don't get the data from there. And replace me means actually I reference now. Let me go here a little bit down. I'm referencing now directly to the same function in my macro code. So what we did before with the spreadsheet, we can also do in the combo box. You remember at the beginning you asked for the button. So it's not only a button that can execute a function. The only thing I have to care about now is that it's not B6, it's B22 to B29. This is the range we are using now as an input for our function. And we know this region or this range here is changing based on the other combo box, right? So when I do this, here we are. So function is working as expected. It looks now nicer, so we don't have this hashtag NA stuff because it's really just what we have in the list. So David and Julia are available for our filter criteria later in the DynaRange. And this is now the nice part. Now I'm changing to north and only Eric is there. And I'm changing to south and there is only Lucas and Pedro. And in west we have only Lucas. Lucas was there, so it's cross region. Julia, Sarah, and Katie, right? So I'm going to go back and forth. So it's a nice dynamic list of sales managers, and it's no duplicates there.
What about though? So, for example, in the Excel report, I have the option of, let's say, removing the filter. So if I want to see everyone for Region South, not just Lucas, how do I add that in?
Yeah, so we have a little, it's not so nice right now. So I even here, so when you go to East, somebody is already pre-selected.
Yeah.
Right. So unfortunately, so if we let's take a quick look to our design preview. So you see, unfortunately, I see immediately from somebody the countries, but as you said, so I'm tied to this now, hard coded more or less. So I cannot switch to give me all countries for North like you asked. So yeah, let's adjust this because guess what? We need empty space.
So we have to manually add in an empty
Correct.
space, just like we removed it from
Exactly.
the...
Yeah, so let's take a look. So we have prepared this already. Yeah, so for comparison, I have the get associated array 2. So this is the function we are currently using in our combo box. Now, a third version now is intentionally, really on purpose, adding even before the for loop to our associated array just an empty string.
Yeah.
And I, in this case, we call the key empty. I imagine that nobody in the salesperson is called empty. If you want to reuse the code, maybe for other lists, you can also use a more unique key. So some special characters maybe inside, because currently we don't need the key. We are not asking for the key right now in the moment. It's just to have a key present. The important thing is that we are adding empty space there, and in this case at the beginning. So really at the beginning of this array. So the first item in our without duplicate array has an empty string, and then we are moving just as before and searching for empty strings in the given range. Yeah. So and as you see, we have 4 currently. Yeah, so because here the subset, the range we are reading actually is bigger than the subset content. And you remember we wanted to have a filter or a list without the zeros or many empty strings inside. But the one and only we need, intentionally, we put at the beginning. So what we can do now, because it's prepared already, so we are just changing from the old function to the next one, where we have this line of code included. And there we are. So we have an empty string, right? And the good thing is, so Eric is selected, and now when we move to another country, and Eric is not in the list,
Okay.
it's already moving to the empty string automatically. So when we go to, wait a second, I guess in here we have Lucas in South, and I know now from the data, Lucas is also responsible for countries in West. So if he is available, then it's pre-selected, but you can go back and do the reset here at this point, right?
A lot to take in.
I guess you would like to see now how we can make this or how we can present this to the end user.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a look. When we go to the full user mode, and we keep this as a comparison.
Yeah.
And you see we have the Dino range, and he's working completely, so we can filter. But this is a little bit, it's too much, right?
Yeah, you want to have less available, so
Correct.
it's easier to have an overview.
So as for the presentation now, or for this lesson, I have added just some conditional formatting. So when I just we hide this for the moment. So everything we are using to control or to give input to our combo box, and in the combo box the function. We don't need on the visible report, but everything else. So now we have east. We have a filter for the underlying dyno range. So this dyno range maybe shows then later some data. But this is actually what you want to have, right? So when you go back here, this was the visible part of your report, region selection, and a filter by Sales Manager to go into more details. So we can filter by region, and we can filter by the sales guy. There we are.
Yeah, so we're getting really close to the report I want. My only issue is if you close the user mode, please. Yeah, so we still have this issue of we're working with these ranges, and what if my range is bigger than specified?
Right,
so that would be the next step, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I guess here in East we can see this.
Yeah.
This is nice because the list is small and fits into the range we are reading into our combo box. And if I go for West, I'm not sure. Maybe there's another country underneath. So we need to check this. And somehow I don't like to be tied to the range on the spreadsheet. Yeah, because sometimes when you add some columns, you have to be careful that you are referencing to the right range. So in our next lesson, I guess I can help you. I want to delete this completely and move it also to PHP code.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.